Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to a Super Unrow Power tutorial. Today we're going to look at how to make your character grow and shrink like Ant-Man. Let's get started. First off, we'll test it out here. First we'll grow. I think this guy's about twice the size as normal. And then we'll go back to normal. And we'll shrink. And now we'll get back to normal size again. And that's how it works. Now let's get started. First off, let's create a new project. And we're going to select new project, third person template. We're going to keep the starter content in it. And let's name this just grow, shrink, tutorial, or whatever you guys want to call it. Alright, the first thing that we're going to do is we'll go up to our project settings and we're going to go to input and we're going to add a couple action mappings. First one's going to be grow. And the second one is going to be shrink. Grow is going to be connected to the G key. Shrink, I'm just going to use the F key because S is kind of already taken by the back button. But you could make these whatever you like. Alright, now that we have that set up, we're going to close. Let's go into blueprints here on our third person character. Let's find some unused space. Let's go down here. And let's start off with the grow function. So type in grow here. Let's drag off of pressed, and we will add a timeline. And we're going to call this grow timeline. And let's change this from play to play from start. And then we're going to add a vector track for this, and let's call this grow track. And then let's change the animation length from 5 seconds to 2 seconds. And now we're going to change each coordinate x, y, and z. And we're going to start with a time of 0 at the beginning of the animation. Let's make sure that we are normal size, and we'll do that for the y and z as well. Alright, and then we'll slide over to the end of the timeline at the 2-second point. We're going to add a key to x point here. We'll have a time of 2 because it's the end of the animation, and the value is going to be, let's just make it 2, so we'll double in size. So for all of these, we're going to be making sure that after 2 seconds, our size is going to double. Alright, so now we'll compile and save that. We'll close out of the timeline, and we'll drag off of the growth track. We're going to type in set actor scale 3D. We'll connect that from update. And then we're going to create 3 new variables here. All 3 of them are going to be Boolean variables. The first one we're going to name small size. Second one we're going to name normal size. And the last one's going to be large size. And then we will compile, and then let's go back to the normal one and let's check the default value to true, because when we start out we want to make sure that it recognizes that we are at normal size here. Now we're going to alt drag all of these in, and at the end of the change it's going to make sure that that small and large size are set to false and normal size is set to true. Alright, let's test that out real quick. Now we'll press the G key and we will grow. Alright, now we'll press the G key and watch our character grow. And that works just fine. Now we'll go back and we're going to have the ability to reverse that. So what we're going to do first is we'll copy all these. Control C, Control V. And we'll plug them in on the side here. Let's rename this to reverse grow track. At the Oh, I made a mistake here. At the end of the first one, after we grow big, we want to make sure that the large size is set to true. And then from the reverse, we want to finish in normal size. So we're going to make sure that this says that normal size is true. Now here we're going to plug in a branch. Off of the true, it's going to go into the first series that we did. Off of the false, we're going to go into the second one and start from reverse from end. And then for the condition here, we are going to check and make sure that it is not large size. So we'll plug in a not boolean here, plug this into the condition, we'll compile, save, and then we will test this out. And then now when we press G, we'll grow, and then when we press G again, we'll shrink. We're going to go back to normal size. Not necessarily shrink, we'll go back to normal size. Alright, so now that we've got the grow function down, we're going to go down here to some more open space, and we're going to search for our shrink input action. And now from here we're going to do something kind of similar. First we're going to drag off of pressed, and we're going to add timeline. And we're going to call this one shrink timeline. Once again, we're going to plug pressed into play from start instead of play. And then we're going to create a new growth track. Let's change the time to 2 seconds. Again, create a new vector track. We're going to call this one shrink track. And just like we did before, we're going to set our default time here from X. So at time of 0, we're going to be 1. Now from here, since you've seen how we do it, I'm going to skip ahead to the second point. Alright, now for our second point, we're going to add the key to X here for a time of 0. Since we're shrinking, let's go to 1/3 of the size, so we'll do 0.33. And then we'll set that for all of these. Alright, now at the end of the timeline, after 2 seconds, we're going to be 1/3 of our size. And now we'll compile, and we'll close out the timeline. Alright, now that we got the track done, let's go back up here, and we're going to copy off these values here. The shrink track is going to go into the actor scale, and at the end of this, since we're shrinking, we're going to uncheck normal size, and we're going to check the small size, so now we can keep track of when we shrink. Now for the reverse of this, let's just copy it, and then when we reverse it, we want to make sure that it knows that we're normal size next time. So next what we're going to do is we're going to plug in another branch. And out of the false, we're going to plug that into reverse from end. Okay, now for the condition, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we are not small size. So plug small in, throw in our not boolean, plug that into the condition, and now we'll compile, and then we will test this one out. So when we press F, we shrink, and then when we press it again, we will reverse the timeline and get back to normal size. Alright, now the next thing that we can't do yet is if we're small and we press the G key, you see that snapping there, it kind of breaks because there's no actual transition between small to large, so that's what we're going to do next. And the same thing happens from going big to small. Okay, now to change size from large to small, what we're going to do is we're going to drag this guy down here, we'll add another branch. Plug the pressed into the branch. True is going to process what we've already done so far. Off the false, we're going to add a new timeline. I'm going to call this timeline small to large. Again, we're going to plug the executable into play from start. Now let's set our new length to 3 seconds, just going off of the logic that if you're going from the smallest size to the largest size that you can go, it'd probably take longer than going from the middle to large or small. Now we're going to add a new vector track. We're going to call this new track small to large track. At 0 time, we're going to be 0.33 because we're starting small, and we'll do that to all of these. And now at the end of the transition here, at 3 seconds, we're going to be large, so we'll be a value of 2 at time 3. And we'll do the same thing to the other values as well. Now that we've finished that timeline, let's compile and save. And we'll copy these right here and plug them into the new timeline. And at the end of the animation, we don't want to be normal size, we want large size to be true and the other two values set to false. And now for our condition, we're going to drag in normal size and large size. And we'll get an OR boolean real quick. And we'll plug both of those into there. And now the condition is going to be, are we normal or large size? And if that's false, then we're going to go into the large-small transition. Now we'll do the same thing for the other size. Except at the end of it, we're going to check small size is true. We'll slide this down here, add another branch. The true is going to go into the previous code there, and the false, instead of from play to start, since we didn't create a new time, we're just reversing it, we're going to do reverse from end. And let's just rename this large to small. And now for our condition, let's grab small size and normal size. Then we'll get another OR boolean and plug that into our condition. And now let's compile and let's test it out. So first let's grow, and then we'll hit the shrink button and we will go all the way down to the smallest size, and then we'll press the G key to go from small to large, and that works just fine. Now one thing that I noticed too was if you spam the button, then it kind of breaks it. It doesn't go through the full animation. So the next thing that we're going to do is fix that. So first let's pull the shrink input button back a little bit, and let's drag off of pressed, and we'll put in a do once. And now what we're going to do is we're going to plug all of the finished pins into the reset of the do once. And we'll do the same thing for grow. Now at the end of the animation, it's going to make sure that we're only going to do this one time before it allows you to hit the button again. All right, now let's test this out. Okay, now I'm spamming the G key, and it is not doing anything until it completes the next animation. And I'll press in the shrink key, and it's doing the same thing. It's not letting me break it this time too. Thanks for watching, guys. If you got something out of this video, go ahead and give it a like. And if you have any other power ideas that you think would be cool to see on a video, leave it in the comments below. Thanks, and we'll see you next time on Super Unreal Powers.